A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to this week's edition of Breeding to Win, where we will be talking horse racing for the next 30 minutes or so. Well, on a sadder note, we had some news coming through this week of top SA sire Cathal, unfortunately, who passed away. He has been standing at Bush Hill Stud. He died on the 26th of June following complications related to abdominal tumours, and he was 20 years of age. Just up until the 25th of June, Cathal had sired over 34 stakes winners. This included the Group 1 winners Love Struck, Desert Lynx, Noble Air, Spice Gold, Chocolicious, Bold Eleanor, who is South Africa's champion older female middle distance horse of 2007.
New Turf Carriers is a family-run business owned by Mark and Dorrie Sham and their three sons, Michael, Matthew and Marcus. New Turf Carriers has been in long-distance transport since 1995 and pride themselves in excellent service, punctuality and loyalty to their clients. Every single stud farm and every single sale to every single racecourse, New Turf Carriers pride themselves in delivering your horse safely. The welfare of your horse is paramount, and it is to this end that we have our own midway stop between Johannesburg and Cape Town. This is situated at Colesberg, where we have a stabling facility for 60 horses, so that the horses on long trips can get off and have a rest during their journey. The bottom line is, New Turf Carriers take your horse from door to door with pride, passion and punctuality.
Well, in our Getting to Know section this week, it is my pleasure to invite into the studio on the Breeding to Win show one of the leading lights among the young and up-and-coming trainers here in Gauteng, Johan Janse van Vuuren. And Johan, welcome to Breeding to Win, and great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, I have to say, your string is firing on all cylinders. I mean, you must have very high percentage of winners at the moment, because your runners compared to winners are right up there.
Yeah, Julie, we've had a very successful last 2 months. I think we've had 11 winners from our last 20 runners, and our total percentage for the current season is just under 17% winners to runners. Considering we started the season very quietly, never had a lot of runners, and we're only getting the juveniles going now. Yeah, it's going fantastically well.
Now, what made you want to become a trainer? I mean, was it a passion of yours from a young age?
Julie, I used to love playing place accumulators when I was a kid. I remember exam time when I used to go study, or supposed to go study. I was hiding in my room with a computer form instead of my exam books. I used to go racing with my dad and my late grandfather. I always used to get 20 rand to play my place accumulator. Yeah, so I've always been interested in horse racing, never ever thinking I'll do it for a living after school one day. And then just one day I decided to go. My uncle had a horse in training with Mark Riley at the time, and I used to go school holidays. I used to go visit and see what the stables was all about. And then I decided after school that I'll go try it out for a couple of months and see if I enjoyed it or not. And I absolutely loved it. At the time, knew absolutely nothing about a horse. I was too scared to go into the stable. I was a water boy for probably about 6 months before I was even allowed to start grooming horses. But yeah, I just loved it, and I really wanted to do it. And we put all my effort into it, and obviously, yeah, ended up where we are today.
Obviously a passion as well, because once it gets in your blood, it's very hard to get it out your blood.
I think it's probably been in my blood all my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just tell us, because you did work and you were an assistant trainer to Jeff Woodruff for over 13 years. It must have been such a remarkable experience to be an assistant and to work under such a top horseman.
Julie, I think I only realised now how lucky I was to have Jeff Woodruff as a mentor all my life. He was such an easygoing person to work for. We used to basically, every one of his assistants used to have our own yards, and we had carte blanche most of the time. If things had to be done, obviously important things you had to go through Jeff, but he let us run our own yard, and he gave us the opportunity to learn. We worked with some incredible horses over the years, and I don't think people realise what a fantastic horseman Jeff actually is. I realise now the things I've learned that at the time we took for granted, and you just think it's part of the normal, like, everyday job, but he's an incredible horseman, and the knowledge he has is just, it's unbelievable.
You know, when you look at the top sires and you see Jetmaster, it must be a very soft spot for you, because you actually worked with Jetmaster.
Jetmaster was already in training, but when I started working for Jeff, I did, when I got my yard at the time, I took over the yard. I don't know who the assistant in the yard was before me, but I got the yard. Jetmaster was in. He was standing in box 26 at the Val, in front of the main office. He was a wonderful horse to work with. Actually, easygoing for such a
because he was
big
huge.
animal. He was very, very, very big. Yeah, you couldn't actually go work with him by yourself. But the minute you put a head collar on him, then he just let you do whatever you wanted to do with him. Very easy horse to work with.
And obviously, you had some other greats as well, the likes of El Pitcher. And I remember Argonaut was part of that as well. Yeah,
El Pitcher, when I started working for Jeff, stood in box 42. I think he was there. He's from the day I walked till the day he retired, he stood in box 42. And other great, Jeff alone has produced, Catalucci was a stallion, Ravishing is at stud now. He's produced more than just one stallion in his career.
Absolutely. Now, obviously a gutsy decision by you, Johan, to break away from such a top stable and say, right, you know what, I'm going on my own. And for such a young person at the time, it was a huge decision for you.
Yeah, Julie, I basically decided a couple of years ago, obviously I want to eventually, you want to train and have your own business. It's very, very hard to start in this business because you need financial backup, and it costs a lot of money. And then I got very lucky. Lawrence Vernus, I became friends with him over the time I was working for Jeff, and he started his own business successfully by involving young blood into his business, and he felt the time he did that his business really took off, because his enthusiasm is so much more. And he said he wanted to try that with his horses, and he asked me if I would like to train. I said, Lawrence, if you're happy to buy 30 horses, we can train. And he was very happy to do it, and that's how our relationship started, and we just got very, very lucky. I got very lucky meeting a guy like Lawrence in my life, and then obviously we got lucky with the horses we got first up. Yeah,
it's always important when you do, for any trainer to start out, to actually have the backing. And I think for you to have got that, going on your own so quickly, a huge feather in your cap, and of course it's all paid dividends as well. How many horses did you initially start with, Johan?
Julie, we started with 5. That was when Lawrence said we'll go to the sales and go buy the youngsters. So when I started training, we only had a couple of 2-year-olds at the time, 4-year-olds now, and then obviously we bought the babies but sent them to the farm for a couple of months to grow up a bit more. So when we started, I was crazy bored every single day of my life. We had nothing to do. And then once the baby started coming in, obviously we got a lot more busy, and then
And you just started kicking in.
Yeah, going so well.
Now you started with, only a handful of horses, but you actually tasted big race success quite early on in your career.
Yeah, Julie, you went to talk about Winter Star.
Well, you had Newton Power and Winter Star, because Newton Power won last year's KZN Breeders 1600.
Yeah, Newton Power is such a lovely little colt. He came from Zimbabwe. Obviously, he's owned by the Mansour family in partnership with Vicky. They're people very close to my heart. I've said it many, many times. They're like my second family, the Mansours. Donovan, like a brother to me, Monique, a sister. He came to us from Zimbabwe. He was already race fit, so we didn't have to do much with him. Got very lucky with him. We already had the potential. Last colt. And then Winter Star, we saw at the Ready to Run gallops and just absolutely loved the action. She had no pedigree. We thought we'd get it for 60,000 at the time. I remember standing at the sales with Donovan, and now it's our first season buying for Vicky. Vicky just got involved in our yard, and we standing there bidding at 80, and then they went 90, and we should we go 100? And eventually, like after a minute of thinking about it, I said, "You don't come. We've got 6 months to pay, so let's just let's just buy the filly." And that is, yeah, we got very lucky with a special filly and not expensive at all.
I mean, she wasn't expensive, and she came through to win the Empress Palace Ready to Run Cup. I mean, that's a remarkable effort on your part.
Yeah, we right in the beginning when she won the first, she never showed us very much when we first got her from the sales. Obviously, she was still a bit immature. And we had in training for about 3 months, and she started showing a bit more, and then we got her ready to win the first start, and she won well. And Donovan used to ride a lot of work at the time, and he loved the filly, and he could actually he gave me the confidence that every time he rode the filly, he said she's getting better and better. He knew long before I did that the filly's going to be a really good filly. He told me long before that, like, this is like a very good filly, not just a nice type, you know. Yeah.
Initially, she started winning some sprints. Did you always know she was going to get the touch extra?
Julie, I was always convinced that we'll get it to run a mile. We did eventually in the Guineas. I mean, she ran actually a very good race. She was drawn 14 out of 14 at the time. The going was very wet. She came from stone last, about 15 lengths off the pace, and she only got beaten like 6 lengths in the Guineas, which is a good run considering wet going from a bad draw. But I think the best distance with a turn of foot is probably a 1400.
Unbelievable. And then unfortunately, you were telling me prior to coming on the show that you had to scratch her from the Classic due to colic.
Yeah, obviously we had nothing for after the Guineas. There was nothing to go for. I was always really wanted to run in the KwaZulu-Natal Guineas. That was I thought she's a type of filly with a turn of foot she would love Gravel. We had to run her somewhere between the Gauteng Guineas and the Durban Guineas, and there was nothing available except the Classic. So we thought we'd take our chances in the 1800, but unluckily it was about a week before the Classic. I got a phone call from Monique. I remember it was the Empress Club stakes at Turffontein that night. I was sitting at the table with the clients, and Monique phoned me and she said to me, "We're in trouble with the filly." So anyway, we didn't take any chances. We didn't try. We just got the truck there, sent her straight to the hospital. Luckily, there were no complications at the time. She had a twisted gut, but no blood flow. It wasn't, no complications yet. They opened her up, untwisted the gut, closed up, and she came back into training about 3 weeks ago. She's more excited to be back than what we are.
Oh, well, that's great. Now, what are the plans with Winter Star now? What would you be aiming her at?
Julie, obviously it's going to take us probably about 3.5 months. She's a filly that comes to hand very, very quickly. So we probably get her in about 3.5 months. When I looked at the program, the first available race would probably be early October, the Spring Challenge, because obviously we're going to try to skip the handicaps and go for the race that will suit a better at the weights, and I think it's weight for age. We'll probably go there, start off there.
You've had a couple of nice winners of late, and just refreshing my memory, Princess Tan Tan, I thought, won an exceptional race over the weekend with the Waishong Mooing. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Julie, she reminds me actually a lot of Winter Star when Winter Star was a baby this time last year. Matter of fact, when Winter Star went to the farm after a colic up now, I actually put Princess Tan Tan, brought her from the baby yard into the main yard, gave her Winter Star's box just because they reminded me so much of each other. She showed not much, but then just like literally, every time you work her, she just improves a little bit. And actually, I was incredibly impressed with her run on the weekend. The track was running quite quick. We didn't want to be that far back, but I mean, luckily Washing knew the filly. He had sat on her twice before. That also helps a lot when your riders know your horses. And I thought she won a very good race. And I think when she gets over a mile, maybe even 1800, I think she's going to be a nice stop.
You also had 2 winners at the Vaal on Thursday, and I know Swadet, you've had problems with before in the past. She came through to win a very good race, and a first-timer, Vuuren.
Yes, Swadet was supposed to run in November last year, and she just almost went, she had no balance. One morning we tried to put her out the box and she couldn't walk, and we've had physios in there, we've had vets in there, and nobody could ever tell us what was wrong with her. Eventually we just gave her a month box rest, walked her for a month after that, and brought her back slowly, and touch wood, nothing has gone wrong since then. We always thought she's a nice type, but also type of filly, she doesn't take a lot of work. We give her one hard workout and we got her rested for 3 days, but I'm glad she won. I couldn't give the guys any confidence. I couldn't give the guys much confidence. But yeah, I'm glad she won well. And then the filly Vuuren, she's the 3rd generation we have from the mare. Lawrence is bred Malachite. He's now 2-time winner. He's bred Addy Star, which is a 1-time winner. Now Vuuren won nicely for the partnership, Brahm and Vicky and Lawrence. She mares at 3 winners, 3 3 foals, 3 winners.
Unbelievable. And this you could actually see because it was still very green in the running. Gavin actually had to get working at her quite a way out, but she responded so nicely, and I think she probably could go on from here.
Julie, I think she'll obviously improve a little bit. We don't get our babies. We don't punish them to win first time out. I think we beat a slightly weaker field yesterday, but definitely our horses always come on from the first run to the second, third, and the fourth runs.
Well, like I said, you really hit a nice purple patch at the moment with your runners, and hopefully it will continue, Hun. What would your goals be for the next season?
Julie, it's very hard to say because you obviously want to climb the trainer's log. I think we're lying around about 30th at the moment. Considering we've had less than 150 runners, I think we're the only trainer in the top 50 that's had less than 150 runners. We'll probably aim for the top 25 or maybe top 20 next year. Considering we've got a very large string of 2-year-olds, I think we've got 45 2-year-olds.
Sure.
We should be able to find 1 or 2 decent ones in and maybe try crack the top 20.
You've got, I think, 60 horses in your stable now. Are you looking to grow that?
Julie, yeah, we've got about 65 in the yard at the moment. Obviously, out of our 2-year-old stock, there are a couple we'll get the one out of them, the ones that will only want to send and get rid of them, or send them to weaker centres. And then we've got to get our youngsters in. We've got, I think, 20 odd youngsters on a farm, no yearlings in the yard yet. So we're going to have to grow a little bit, but we probably replace 20 with 10. So it won't grow in massive numbers, but it will grow a little bit over the next year. Well,
Johan, keep up the good work, and of course we wish you all the best with your future. We will be looking very closely at your runners next season, and of course we look forward to seeing Winter Star back on the track.
Thank you, Julie, appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming in. That's Johan Janse van Vuuren, our studio guest here on Breeding to Win tonight. Well, the magnificent Master of My Fate was the sale topper of the 2011 Empress Palace National Yearling Sales, being sold for over 3 million rand. He won 6 races in a row in 8 months and was an average winning distance of over 2 lengths. He was sired by Jetmaster, or is sired by Jetmaster, and out of the dam, Promise from My Heart. He's now going to stand where he was born at Vosfontein Stud. Let's take a look at Master of My Fate, the Stallion.
But Master of My Fate, he's a born leader, and he's in front by a length and a half. Time of Song's absolutely flying for second. But Master of My Fate, it's race over, and he travelled well down the lane. Master of My Fate, easy.
Awesome Power from the back of the field. Master of My Fate. Awesome Power, the only danger, but Master of My Fate, too good. Master of My Fate stays on from Awesome Power and puts her in. And it's Master of My Fate who's come to take the lead. Racing in behind that one cool dude trying to get after them. Part of Familius is kicking on behind that, but Master of My Fate is out in front and he's clear as they come to the final 100. Master of My Fate from Hill 54 and Part of Familius, and Master of My Fate, too good.
Master of My Fate goes on. Spandau Ballet is running on, but he's got the looks, he's got the pedigree, and he's banking the money out here. Master of My Fate, easy stuff by just over 3.
Master of My Fate has been syndicated by Freeman Stallions to stand at Varsfontein Stud from the 2014 season. This superb-looking, brilliantly conformed, highly talented son of the legendary Jetmaster is out of the champion racemare Promise from My Heart, herself the daughter of champion broodmare sire Eliodor. Not only does Master of My Fate have the distinction of being the product of a champion sire and a champion dam, the first 3 generations of Master of My Fate's female line boast 4 champions. He was a sale-topping colt as a yearling at 3 million rand and became tagged as a superior racer by trainer Dennis Dreyer right from the start. Master of My Fate reeled off 6 consecutive wins in 8 months, starting odds-on favorite for the first 4, with the rest of his competitors generally priced at 10-1 or better, and winning by an average margin of 2 or more lengths. This was also true of the field of 14 of the country's best racers that he trounced in the Grade 2 Premier Trophy at Kenilworth in December 2013. That field included 6 Grade 1 horses, amongst whom the subsequent J&B Met winner, Hill 54, Durban July second-placed Run For It, J&B Met third-placed Punta Arenas, Lomara Queen's Plate, Daily News, and Durban July placed No Worries, Grade 1 winner Jeppy's Reef, etc.
Master of My Fate has come to take the lead. Racing in behind that one cool dude trying to get after them. Part of Familius is kicking on behind that, but Master of My Fate is out in front and he's clear as they come to the final 100. Master of My Fate from Hill 54 and Part of Familius, and Master of My Fate too good. Hill 54 second.
Sean Cormack said that Master of My Fate's performance in that race left him speechless, and he told the post-race interviewer that Master of My Fate is the best horse I have ever sat on.
He's just superb. I'm speechless. For once, I'm actually speechless.
Some of the accolades that the racing press heaped on him included shades of his brilliant sire. Another noted that he inspired much reminiscing and reflection back to the mighty Jetmaster as his outstanding son, Master of My Fate, blew his opposition away in the Premier's Trophy. The Sporting Post reported, "For many of us fortunate enough to have enjoyed some of Jetmaster's performances in the flesh, there was a shiver up the spine at the 300-meter marker as Sean Cormack gave the big colt his head. With that trademark splash of paint on his majestic head, an elastic stride carried him clear as Master of My Fate ran all the way to the line. They said he exploded into the lead in a heartbeat, with his rider letting him ease up nearly 2 lengths clear at the wire." Racing reports concluded he came, he saw, he conquered, and thrilled his supporters. In his prep for the J&B Met, the Big Bay took on another bunch of the season's best gallopers in January 2014, including some that he'd thrashed before, this time in the glorious Goodwood Grade 2 Peninsula Handicap. And he did it all over again.
Master of My Fate, meantime, has come forward to pick it up in the centre of the course, and that's the one they've all got to beat. Master of My Fate is powering home in the centre. Down towards the inside, Punta Arenas is trying to make a race of it. Awesome Power from the back of the field. Master of My Fate, Awesome Power the only danger, but Master of My Fate too good. Master of My Fate stays on from Awesome Power at Punta Arenas.
Sporting Post reported that the brilliant Jetmaster colt Master of My Fate sent the expert Doubting Thomases dashing for cover when winning the glorious Goodwood Grade 2 Peninsula Handicap over 1,800 meters. They added, Master of My Fate handled the challenge with aplomb and won, going away by 1 1/4 lengths in a time of 110.05 seconds. This was 2 seconds faster than his Premier victory over the same course and distance. He just seemed to get better each time. He needed to do no more than keep winning. He was the highest-rated 4-year-old in training before going into the J&B Met later the same month. His 6 wins proved the versatility characteristic of Jetmaster's best progeny. He won from 1200 to 1800 meters, and Dreyer firmly held the view that he was good enough to beat the best over the JNB Met 2000 meters. But he was cut into 3 times by the same horse in the Met and still ran again flying 5th. A recent injury curtailed the impressive racing plan that Dennis Dreyer had mapped out for him, and he has been retired to stud. His career is managed by Freeman Stallions. John Freeman said, "We are honored to have this superb sire prospect join our portfolio. He is a truly worthy addition to the South African stud book."
Gavel House is the leading website for trading horses online. Selling your racehorse, mare or even a share in a yearling is so easy on Gavel House. You can browse our sires directory to match the best mating for your mare, with text description, videos and up-to-date sires reports. Gavelhouse.com is the best way to sell your horse. We reach places others can't, where buyers and sellers deal direct and pay no commission. Go to gavelhouse.com.
Once again, there are 2 horses being offered by Gavel House on this Breeding to Win show. The first is a 98 mare for breeding, Lady B Sharp, 20,000 Rand. She's a half-sister to Grade 1 winner What a Prospect and is in foal to Kuwari. Now, Lady B Sharp is already the dam of 2 winners from 2 foals to race, and she's from a winning dam line. Lady B Sharp is from the dual winning mare and play stakes Ty Sandy, who has already produced 7 winners, including the high-class Grade 1 star and 10 times winner What a Prospect, along with stakes performer and 6 times winner Eastern Voyager. Lady B Sharp is to be sold in foal and with a cover to Kurari for the 2014 season. Now, just a little bit about the sire Kurari. He's the German-bred Grade 1 winner and top-rated older horse in Germany 2010, and the first son of Oasis Dream to stand in South Africa. If you are interested, contact Hendrik Winterbach Jr. in the Western Cape. Well, the other horse is an unraced 2011 gelding. His name is Egocentric. He's by Count Dubois and he's out of Enigmatic. 60,000 Rand is on offer and offers will be considered. He's ready to go into training. Enigmatic is prepared, untried 2-year-old, available off the farm. He has a great attitude and has a long striding action. Count Dubois, as we know, is South Africa's champion sire of 2-year-old and multiple champion and group winners, Asylum Seeker, Zaytoon, Biarritz and Zeno. His second crop made him Equus Outstanding Stallion and set an SA record for 2-year-old earnings. If you are interested in getting involved in Egocentric, who is of course is ready to go into training, you can contact Ritay Scroll Stud in the Western Cape. Well, that's a wrap for our show this evening. Thanks for joining us on this Breeding to Win, and don't forget to join us where we will be bringing you all the highlights from the Vodacom Durban July next weekend. And of course, we'll be back with a next week's show for this Breeding to Win. Until then, from the Breeding to Win team, it's from me, Julie Alexander. Good night.